Time entry and submittal for positive duration employees. Time entry expectations. Employees assigned the positive duration time entry profile are required to enter the number of hours they worked on each workday. Timesheets must be submitted after you have worked your final day or shift of each week. After submitting your timesheet, it flows to your supervisor for approval. For information regarding pay periods and calendars, see the Payroll and Tax Services website. Accessing and navigating the timesheet. Logging into SuccessFactors via the One Campus portal. Visit the One Campus portal at one.purdue.edu and select Employee Launchpad. Log in using Purdue Career Account ID and Boilerkey passcode. For assistance using or setting up Boilerkey, please contact etap@purdue.edu or 765-494-4000. The timesheet is accessed by logging into SuccessFactors, scrolling down to the My Info section, and clicking on the timesheet tile. The current week's timesheet opens. The current day is highlighted in bold red font. In the top right, the dates of that pay week are displayed. You are able to navigate to the next week or the previous week using the arrows on the right and left. Just beneath the timesheet week is the total recorded working hours for the selected week. The timesheet status is displayed beneath the total hours summary. The main workspace displays the day of the week and how many hours have been worked each day. Hours are displayed both numerically and graphically. The number of hours you are scheduled to work that day are displayed beneath the numerical entry field. Employees who do not work a set or standard schedule will most likely have the hours field blank by default. For example, this schedule anticipates the employee to work 8 hours each day on Monday through Friday and 0 hours on Saturday and Sunday. The bars are colored light blue for time worked within your planned time. They are colored dark blue for time worked outside of your planned time. Hover over each bar to display more information. For further details and to change items such as time type or cost center, expand the details box. Note that your cost center will default to your primary cost center if no selection is made. You may also add callback time by selecting the Add On-Call Time option. Despite the presence of the Add Absence button on this page, Purdue policy requires that you submit all absences, PTO, and leaves, using the Time Off tile within your Employee Central homepage. In the bottom right are buttons for canceling, saving, and submitting the current timesheet. Adding and submitting time. There are 2 ways to enter time into your timesheet: numerically and graphically. We will explore the numerical entry first. Note, all time recorded is in the form of total duration hours and minutes. For example, an entry of 8:00 reflects 8 hours and 0 minutes of working time. To enter time numerically, simply type the numerical value in the designated field under each day. Click the field and enter the amount of hours worked. This method is recommended as it ensures the greatest accuracy. The second method is graphically. This method requires that you use your cursor to click the area of the graph that aligns with the number of hours worked. For example, if we worked 8 hours, we can search for where 8 would fall on the graph and use our pointer to click, populating a bar graph value and a numerical value. Note that this method is sensitive and more prone to errors, so be sure to review the accompanying numerical value for accuracy. The time summary window displays total working time as well as a breakdown of different types of time, such as overtime, callback time, and holiday hours. For example, in our current timesheet, we had one 9-hour day and 4 8-hour days, for a total of 41 working hours for the week. This example is working from a 40-hour workweek, so the additional hour is automatically logged as an hour of overtime in the summary window. Please note that overtime will appear once more than 40 hours of working time is calculated and not necessarily when they are worked. It is important to note that the total within the summary window displays total work time for the week, such as regular time and overtime. This total will not account for non-work time such as leaves and holidays. Note that the following example including holiday pay is for benefits-eligible employees only. Let's look at the following week, January 15th to 21st, for an example of a holiday and leave. Monday, January 15th, is a holiday. Holidays are identified with an asterisk above the date. You can hover over this asterisk to display which holiday occurs. In this case, Monday is Martin Luther King Jr. Day. On Tuesday, January 16th, we have requested a vacation day. Vacation hours are identified by a grayed out bar representing the amount of hours requested off. Notice in the summary window that 8 hours of vacation and 8 hours of holiday are reflected, but the total working time is still 0. Recall that the total in SuccessFactors timesheet only reflects work time, so even though the vacation and holiday hours are still paid time and will be reflected in your paycheck, they will not count towards the total in the timesheet because they do not reflect actual time worked. If we then work our scheduled 8 hours a day for the remainder of the week, we will see 24 total hours, but will be paid for a 40-hour work week with the additional 16 hours of holiday and vacation. If you are called back to work for any period of time, you will report this on the timesheet as callback time. Purdue policy places a callback premium of 2 hours for every instance you are called back to work. This 2-hour premium is noted within the duration section of on-call time, but the additional time worked is added to the allocated hours section. For example, if we are called back to work for a 1-hour event on Thursday evening of our current work week, we would select Thursday and select Add On-Call Time. Here we would add our 2-hour callback premium in alignment with Purdue policy. Then we would add our additional time worked to the allocated hours section. In this case, we were called back to work a 1-hour event, so we will add an hour of working time. Notice that our additional hour of work time is now accounted for in the total, and because we were already over 40 hours for the week, it is categorized as overtime. Our 2 hours of callback premium pay are not included in the total. Like holiday and leaves, callback premium hours are not time worked. They will be reflected within the summary window and counted towards your paycheck, but they will not be part of the total within the timesheet. If you have made changes to your timesheet but are not yet ready to submit, you can click Save Draft. When you have reviewed your completed timesheet and are ready to submit for approval, click Submit. A dialog box will appear that asks you to confirm your decision to submit. This box also provides a summary of the week and allows you to add any comments for the approver. Notice that, upon submission, the status has updated from "to be submitted" to "to be approved." Cost overrides are used to charge specific hours to an account other than the employee's default cost center. Click to select the date to make the cost override adjustment. Scroll down to view details. Click in the duration text entry box on the empty line and enter the number of hours for the cost override. Click anywhere outside of the duration field to refresh the entries. Click the Cost Override drop-down menu and select the appropriate account details. Enter a comment if necessary. Click Save Draft. Amending a submitted timesheet. After you submit your timesheet. Once you have submitted a timesheet, a notification email will be sent to your supervisor indicating that your completed timesheet is ready for their approval. Once this timesheet is approved, it will be routed to payroll for processing. Cases may arise where your supervisor does not approve your timesheet, in which case it may be routed back to you for editing and you will receive a notification and email. Period of admissibility. There may be situations where you realize that you have made a mistake on your timesheet and need to go back and amend it. You will be able to make amendments to your timesheet to correct this mistake as long as you are within your period of admissibility. This period is 2 pay periods, or 4 weeks, prior to your current pay period. For example, if you submit a timesheet for the week of January 8th to 14th, you will have until February 11th, 2 pay periods later, to make an amendment to that timesheet. When editing your submitted timesheet, there are 3 status scenarios to consider. The first scenario is when your timesheet status says, to be approved, meaning that it has yet to be approved by your manager. In this situation, you will navigate to the target pay week and click Withdraw. Then make the desired changes and click Submit. The second scenario is when your timesheet has been approved by your manager and you are still within your period of admissibility. In this scenario, navigate to the target pay week and click Make Amendment. Then make desired changes and click Resubmit. Status is now set to Amendment to be approved. The third and final scenario is when your timesheet has been approved by your manager but it has been more than 2 pay periods since timesheet submission. If it has been more than 2 pay periods since the timesheet was submitted, then you are no longer within your period of admissibility and cannot make an amendment directly in the system. Instead, you will need to communicate the timesheet mistakes and any desired changes to your supervisor. Your supervisor will work with the payroll center to make the appropriate adjustments to the timesheet. This concludes the time entry and submittal for Positive Duration Employees Work Instruction video. For additional resources, see the Timekeeping and Payroll section of the SuccessFactors training site at www.purdue.edu/timehelp.